People say it's like a toxic relationship. Somebody said this. Somebody told me living in Ghana, specifically Accra, is having a toxic relationship, but your partner's going to therapy and getting better. And I've heard this a few times. And to be honest, I'm like, I'm not really sure if I want to be in a toxic relationship right now. So the time has come. I will be leaving Ghana. It's sort of like when you've been at a party for way too long and you should leave. And that's sort of how I feel in this moment, where it's like I've been here almost 10 months and it's just not where I need to be right now. That's a conclusion that I've come to. Ghana is always home. Just the actual lived experience has provided me with so much information. Even though it's been really tough, there's been so many moments where I'm like, why did I do this? I basically feel like I failed and I'm gonna have to start everything fresh again, and I'm not progressing. My mental health is suffering. I'm feeling really, really down. Feeling really, really down to a point where I've cried in Ubers. Well, sort of. I didn't want to cry in the Uber, but like the tears were coming when you just start to think about how did I end up here, But what I will say is that I'm staying positive. I'm staying optimistic. Whenever I have those moments where I do feel down and when I do feel like questioning why I did this, I do try my best to look at the facts, to look at things objectively, not tell myself stories that are not true, but to give myself grace and to recognize this experience is something that I wanted. I will definitely be back, but where I need to be at this stage in my life is not here. So I will be leaving. There's a couple of different reasons as to why I'm leaving. I think one of the biggest ones is my accommodation. I really am having a hard time with the place that I'm living and I can't deal with it anymore. There are so many challenges that I'm experiencing, and while it is free accommodation, I'm paying for it in other ways. I think finding accommodation in Ghana in general is quite challenging, and that has definitely been my experience. So I ended up staying at a family home, but it's just not it. And it's been about maybe 5 or 6 months. I've gotten more resilient to being here, but the experience itself has not gotten better, and I don't expect it to. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm leaving, my accommodation. Next is that I'm not really doing much. I feel so idle here. I just feel like the time goes so fast. I don't even know where my time goes. I don't know where my money goes, and I feel so unproductive. My business is not running in the way that what I need it to run. I also just don't have the mental capacity to start something new. There have been opportunities presented to me. However, like I said, I just don't feel like I'm in the right mental headspace for them. Also, just in terms of my career trajectory, I feel like it's been halted a little bit, which is maybe not true, but that's just how I feel in this moment. I just feel that this is slowing me down, being here right now. I'm not making as much money, but I'm spending a lot more. So it's just not the best situation for me to be in right now. So I'll give you an example. Like every day I would go to a cafe to do work because, again, where I'm living, it's just not a conducive space to be doing work. So I'm spending maybe 150 to 200 cities a day on Uber if I'm only going to one place. Then you go to the cafe, you're buying stuff, so you're spending maybe 200 cities. That's like 300 to 400 cities per day. For what? For what? Whereas if I was back in Toronto, if I wanted to go to a cafe, I could take a bus for $3, maybe get a coffee and a snack, make my own food, and it would be less than $20. But here I'm spending double and, again, not getting as much value. And it's just not something that I want to continue doing. I'm just over it. Another reason is I think the culture shock, just the cultural differences. Being Ghanaian by heritage is very different from growing up in the Ghanaian culture in Ghana. And I've definitely realized that being here. I'm very Canadian in terms of my lived experience. And then based on my heritage, I'm Ghanaian. But being here and trying to live in Ghana as someone born and raised in Canada is very, very challenging. And I think it will take a long time to adjust. I've met people that have been here that are not from Canada necessarily, but they're from the UK that have been here for years. And they still say it's still a challenge for them. So me being here 10 months, it's not hard to understand why I would be facing so many challenges when it comes to culture. So this includes things like communication. I'm used to more direct communication. Here, it's sort of like you're going like this. To get to your point, you're going like this, up and down, around and around. Whereas like I'm more used to having direct communication. Also, in terms of just the culture of elitism, I would say, it's just quite in your face all the time. Like the inequities that exist, the focus on being wealthy at all costs. And again, this might be me coming from a place of privilege because I'm from Canada, where there's systems and structures that work that even if you don't have money, you can benefit from. Whereas here, you need to have a level of wealth to gain access to a lot of things that might be basic in other places. So there's that too. I forgot even what my point was there. But yeah, the inequities, the I think the dynamics also between men and women, which I don't think I'll get into as much, but that has also been a challenging, just understanding, just navigating romantic situations, navigating just general day-to-day interactions, superiority, or it's a patriarchy. Like, we live in a patriarchy, but I think North America has made space for women to be more empowered. At least that's the perception. Whereas here, it is very different, vastly different, even just in terms of communication. Like the idea of asking why is a problem here, or just challenging. I think it's also based on your age and seniority in that way, but also the dynamic between men and women, just challenging things, asking questions. It's not so well received based on my experience. And this is not to generalize, this is just some of my experiences and also what I've observed. So that too, and also the transactional nature of a lot of relationships between men and women, but also between the same genders. So that has been something that I'm not as used to, how transactional things can be. And that has been another culture shock for me. So there's so many different reasons as to why I'm leaving, but it's the right decision. I've had a lot of mixed commentary or thoughts about me leaving. Like, a lot of people are like, don't go, stay, just give it a chance, just stay for long. You just need to push through. I've had a lot of people say, yeah, you should have left earlier, you didn't plan well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I decided on my own terms, this is when I need to go. I need to go back, be in an environment that I am familiar with, that I can navigate, that I understand, that makes sense to me, and then decide what I'm going to do from there on. And what I will say overall, there's so many things that I think I would have done differently, but at the same time, it would have been hard for me to know this exactly, like the steps I would take if I didn't have this first experience. So if I didn't come and live here to begin with, I think it would be really hard for me to maybe know what to do. So after being here for 10 months, I definitely think I've gained so much knowledge that I wouldn't be able to get from other YouTube videos, from other people, from maybe reading blogs or listening to podcasts. I wanted to know what it would be like, and I did it. I took the risk. While there's a lot of things that I didn't expect, or I didn't think things would go this way. I had actually thought I would be here for 2 years. That was the goal. And while I really wish I still had my place back in Toronto, now I need to figure out accommodation, housing. I have to figure out a lot of things. I don't necessarily regret making the move. I will say that. I think I've grown in so many ways. Just the adaptability, resilience, creativity, learning more to control my emotions. It's not always easy. It's far from easy, actually. But learning even just the importance of that and working towards that. Also, gratitude. I am beyond grateful for what I have access to. Just the ability for me to decide, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore, and I can actually leave and go back to Canada. Whereas so many people are in difficult positions here, everyday life is a challenge and they can't leave. They just have to deal with it. Whereas for me, just being there, I have access to opportunities. So just being grateful for that and recognizing that the world is big. I don't have to put myself in a box. I don't only have to do one thing. I don't have to always know how the outcome will be before taking a risk or trying something. That's something that I really struggled with, just feeling the need to always know how things will turn out. And it's really held me back, even here, just not the indecision being the decision because of the fear of things not working out or just not knowing how things will work out. That has really been a big problem for me. I think my whole life, but I've seen how detrimental it has been in this experience. And I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to live and try things out and see how it goes. So all this is to say, I'm leaving. Essentially, the party's over. It's like you need to, what do they say? It's like you don't have to go home, but you need to get out of here. And I'm going home though. I need to go. So I will be leaving soon. I'm so excited to make more content again, like actually cooking. I have so many content ideas, and that's something that I really, really want to grow even more, because my ideal situation would be to be able to go back and forth. I don't think I'm really cut out to be in Ghana full time, at least not yet. So if I can figure out my accommodation, my income that allows me to live a life essentially between cultures, or between places. That's my slogan. Designing a life between places. That would be the ideal situation. And I'm going to work towards that. I feel so motivated. This experience has made me so motivated to go after my dreams, because I see how difficult it is for people to do that. Whereas I have the opportunity, and I'm like, I want to take full advantage of that. And it's in a way that I didn't feel as fired up before. And now I really do. While there's always these negative voices in my head telling me to be smaller or to shrink myself, I feel that this experience has given me permission or exposure to just do something, just do different things and not overthink it as much. Been there, done that, That's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you in the next video.